I feel like I don't know, since I always had a mature mind. I think that shit just came
Naturally.
natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I always had to be the person to think think our way out of some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
through whatever. So it was like one of those things where it wasn't nothing that I felt forced, but it was just like, all right, we in a situation,
How
or
can we get?
how can we get
Mm-hmm.
out, or how can we better whatever situation that we're in. And then I think it's that made me mature faster. Um, Now I was still with the shits now, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but it was just I still like to have fun, I still
Have a good
like to
time.
enjoy myself, but um my mind was always it was always sharp, like kind of like a lot of people say I was ahead, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, like just ahead
Ahead
of
of your
my
time.
time,
Yeah.
right? Just from my thought process, and shit, it was just part of life, part of
So
growing up.
how
It
you
forced a
feel?
nigga to
How you feel right now? As
right
far as,
now.
yeah, how you feel mentally? Like how old? Do you feel your age, or do you feel?
Nah, I feel right now I still feel young.
Mm-hmm.
I feel young, a lot of energy, um, health wise and physical. A lot of energy still can get out there with the youngsters and do
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hoop, run, swim, whatever whatever they want to do. I feel super young in that aspect. Mentally, I always kind of felt a little
Older.
older mentally, uh, just from the shit that I know. Like, so it'd be some shit that people do. It'd kind of be immature, and I'd just be like,
You not.
I had to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as like just overall, I mean, I still feel young, and I still try to do shit that
The youngsters can do.
right,
And that was me.
shit
I
that'll
was.
keep you young. You know what I'm saying?
I had to realize and understand. Like I always had that like leadership role. As far
Mm,
as like people always kind of um moved or waited for me to kind of make a move, and then they were like, all right, I'm gonna go with that. They kind of
right.
like that was
Mm-hmm.
natural since I was young. I always just I always took the lead on things.
Right.
And I never really realized how much power I had as far as that, like being that leader. Like it was like I'm a move. When I
Mm,
used to just be so impulsive in my movement
right.
that I wouldn't think a lot of times before I act. If
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do something, I just did it.
Right.
And so a lot of times I would do stuff that out of impulse, and
Right.
it'll lead me into some trouble, lead me into some bullshit. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to tell myself like, man, it's not just you that you think. You got a lot of people that's following what you're doing, and so I had to
Right.
really really realize like certain actions. When it came to fighting, I always just always getting in a fight. So I always
Mm-hmm.
and I might have put other people in a bad position at that time too, because it's like somebody, if I felt disrespected, I'm not thinking ahead of time. It's just like I'm trying to address that right here, right now. No
Right.
form of disrespect. And it's like I would act, but then it's like, man, after the fact, they'd be like, end up in jail, end up, all the different things that might have ended up happening or that did end up happening at that time. Just putting other people's lives at jeopardy, putting other people in bad positions. Like, and
Right.
and they doing the same thing. Whatever I'm doing, whatever I felt like was a thing to do, they riding with it. So it's kind of, for me, it was like redirect your energy. Like if
Right.
my energy was so much towards going this way all the way left. I was
Uh-huh.
like, man, you gonna end up dead in jail going this way. I
Right.
think I probably got about 9 lives out of like real talk. People, my wife, my mama, they all said a lot of times they be like, man, you got about like 9 lives, like as much shit, reckless stuff that I was doing. That's what it was. My energy was just so impulsive that I had a tendency of being reckless, whether it was drinking and driving, whether it was fighting, whether it was just running the streets, whatever it was. I didn't think a lot of times before I acted. But
Right.
I always had a genuine heart. I always had pure intention in all my movements. I never meant ill to nobody. It
Yeah.
just it was just an input. What I wanted to do, I did. And so started having to redirect that energy. Like, let's do some right things. Let's do some good things. Let's do some
Mm-hmm.
things that's go motivate and inspire people. Let's do some things that's let's read and do more become more peaceful. That's how I start moving. And like you say, shit, once I started moving that direction, I not only start limiting how much trouble I was getting into for self, but other
Right.
people start seeing and they start watching it. They start
Mm-hmm.
picking up a book and reading. They start enjoying their peace a little bit more, really understanding their peace a little bit more. So
Right.
mentally, I could say I was immature, me personally. Like I was always ahead, like as far as leader, like I could think things through ahead of time. You know, if I sat down and did, but like when something happened in the moment,
Yeah.
I would just act, and so I had to like really learn myself better. I think that was my biggest thing was learning myself more,
Right.
like just understanding like you really impulsive, like you're impatient and you're impulsive, and you know that's destructive behavior. Take
Yeah.
time to think before you act, you know, and then other people, you know, you naturally being a, you know, me personally naturally being a leader, you
Mm.
know, it influenced and inspired the people around me as well.
Yeah. It's like, that's our responsibility as leaders, and you know influencers.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody don't have that gift to lead and to
Mm-hmm.
influence people. So when you and some people, like you say, you wasn't aware of it in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. It was just a natural thing. But once you become aware of it and you start to realize your
How
power,
much power you have.
then it's your responsibility and your duty to lead people in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to lead people down a path of destruction and
Crash dummy
recklessness.
missions.
Yeah. So it's just it's important to so you got when you got people looking at you, like even with the kids, like it's certain things that I had gave up because my son. And then it's a lot of people. I learned I had that power a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to start moving accordingly because you know for certain people, what I say is bond. So
They
it's like
take your
shit.
word.
They gonna rock with it. So even if it's something that I desire, that's it may not be beneficial to the next person. I'll have to kind of check myself and be like, you know what I'm saying? Because just take the unselfishness out of it, and kind of even like with my son, I used to ride motorcycles,
Oh yeah.
and I was reckless on the motorcycles,
Mm-hmm.
and my son, he was probably like 4, and he was crazy about motorcycles when I he
He
used
just
to,
watching you and see how you was moving on them.
right. So he used to take my helmet. He used to put it on. He used to, when he was 4, I used to take him around the neighborhood on the bike, and I was looking, and he was just, he was loving that shit.
How
So,
old was you at this time?
shit, I was probably like 20.
Early 20s.
Yeah, I was probably like 23.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
early 20s.
And so I said, man. So at that point, I was like, this shit is reckless, and then he's looking at it like
Fun.
fun. So and this is like he's starting to develop like a passion and a love for it. So then I said, I ended up giving it up. I said, man, I'm gonna get off these bikes. This shit is dangerous. I got a lot to live for. I got kids. I gotta make sure I'm there for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I had put the bikes up, and shit, I haven't
Picked it back up.
haven't picked it back up since. And then now he hasn't picked it back up since. So he's
Okay.
kind of like shit.
Daddy don't enjoy it anymore, so I don't
Right.
find no interest in it. And I
Right.
think that was mine. I think like when you said mine is more so that self-awareness,
Mhm.
and it took me probably a little longer, and it wasn't until like you say till you had kids, and then
Right.
you start becoming more self-aware of your actions,
Mhm.
because it's like you got to remember that you got some people that's looking up to you. You got some
Exactly.
people, and I always say it's not what you say, it's what you do that they watching.
Right.
And when you really realize like, okay, these kids are watching what you're doing, and then your
Mhm.
actions can affect their lifestyle as well.
Right.
So like reckless to me was fun.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy, like that was fun to me, like going
Yeah,
out
yeah.
here and just partying and turning up, and just that whole just racing on the freeway, driving reckless, and like all
Right.
that was fun. But then like once I became more self-aware, and I was like, it's bigger than me, and not
Right.
even for me just with the kids, but it, like you said, the people around you that affect, people that
Mhm.
depend on you. People that look up to you, people that rely on you. Whether we was doing business, and in business, it's like you got people, families that depend on you.
Right.
You can't mess around and go to jail. You can't mess around and get yourself killed out here being
Got a
reckless.
lot of people.
So it was more like, man, I had to become self-aware and just like, all right, I got to make it back home. I can't keep doing the same shit that I've been doing when I was in my early 20s.
Right.
It's like I have something bigger. It's bigger than me now, and I think that was my main thing. Like when I became self-aware of the power that I had, and everybody has this power. Everybody has the power. You just have to
Right.
tune into it.
Right.
And it was just like I started really working on self. Like start really just trying to be over, like, all right, taking my self empowerment, take my self development serious. All right, you can't make the same, you know. And I say people be like, stay woke, or be like, to stay woke is to be aware, like to be conscious of your actions and your thoughts. Like that's true consciousness, moment to moment. Like what are your thoughts right now? What are your actions right now? And like I was saying earlier, a lot of times I wasn't really honing in on my thoughts and my actions. I was just doing it, and then whatever the consequences or whatever the results was after, then I'd be like, then I kind of go back and reflect on it, like, damn, I probably shouldn't have done that, or damn, I probably could have handled this in a different manner.
Right.
So like with now, and it's like, that's why I say with time, like right now, I'm more mature because I think about my thoughts first, and then I think about my actions before I do it. And I was like, you know, how is this gonna affect my kids? How is it gonna affect, you know, my wife? How is it gonna affect my family? How is it gonna affect business? How, you know, just basically considering, not just like you say, being a little bit more selfless in the things that, even the things that you actually might desire to do, like you said, like just taking a step back, and how is that gonna affect everybody around me? Is it gonna benefit the people around me, or is it gonna hurt the people around me?
Right.
So just, you know, being more conscious, being more
responsible, being a responsible adult. You know, getting on your grown man stuff. Shit. That's really what it's about. I just, you know, I feel like it starts, you know, a lot of people, they trying to be leaders, and I see this so often. You know, a lot of people trying to lead other people, and that they're not even leading themselves. You know, themselves or their family. You know what I'm saying? Their kids. You out here trying to lead somebody else, but you know, you don't even have your, you know, your household in order. And that's, for me, that's where it started. You know, that's where it starts. Just with my kids, that's I'm very influential when it comes to my kids. So that's where it really started for me. Like certain things that, you know, I'll take them in consideration
before you make certain actions.
Certain things I'm like, nah, that ain't a good look. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about that first. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my responsibility. I created that responsibility through my actions, so I got to take care of that. Then after that, everything else came. Well, okay, you know, we talking about business. We talking about just everything. We got peers and stuff that look up to what we do, relatives, friends, you know, family. It
starts in that household, though.
Yeah, but it starts right there. That was like my main. That's one of the main things that really got me to. Okay, I got to be a little more cautious of how I approach certain situations, and just get back on, cause that's my thing. I may overthink some shit sometimes, and I'm a big time thinker, and I like to take my time. You know, that's why I say you got 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. So you should do more listening, observing, before you really get to acting, you know, with words and stuff like that. Because, you know, once you act, it's gonna be a reaction. You know what I'm saying, to whatever you do. So listening and observing, it costs nothing. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no consequence to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's better to think, listen, observe, and then
make,
you know,
a decision
make
based
a decision.
off that.
Right.
And I like when you say, because that was one thing that I kind of had bad, like, and I realized that when I was coming back to, you know, when I come home, it was like, you know, once you do something, you can't undo it. Once that action is done, you can't undo that action. Right. Once you say something, you can't take those words back. You can apologize and all that stuff all you want to, but once them words are said, it ain't no taking back those words.
Right.
You know, and when you was bringing up about with the household, and same thing, you know, with the kids, like, I had to tell myself, I can't discipline my kids if you're not disciplining yourself. Right. I can't tell them, you don't do this, don't do that, but yet I go out here and I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to be doing. I can't come home and, you know, you can't come home. So many times we try to discipline, you should be disciplining your kids. You should do this with your kids. Make sure you're disciplined as well.
Right.
You know, and like, especially as a man in your household, like you said, it is your responsibility to come in. It's your responsibility to lead. It's your responsibility to protect and provide as a man in your household. And so you lead the energy in that house. Like, your family, your kids, your wife, your spouse, whatever, they're going to follow your lead as a man. What's your energy? If your energy come in and your energy is down, your kids' energy is going to be down. Right. If your energy is up and upbeat and loving and caring, your kids, they gonna model what dad sets out. You know. And so A lot of times I used to tell myself, people, when I talk with people, I say, man, you go to work and you go like business, or you go above and beyond, to make sure everybody else is happy, everybody else
Right.
is well taken care of. And you go to work and go, even if you don't like people, you're gonna still be polite, you still gonna be nice, you still gonna be caring, because that's your
Mm-hmm.
job. You're gonna be nice to employees, you're gonna be nice to your coworkers, you're gonna be nice to everybody else around you. But then when you come home, you lash out on everybody in the house.
Yeah.
It's like, how can we go give love and care, and go above and beyond, even the people we don't like in the workplace, but then yet you come home and then we give the people that love us the most the worst side of us. We going
Right.
off on our wife, we going off on the kids, we disciplining and we whooping, and we doing everything negative in the household, or
Mm-hmm.
giving a negative energy towards our household to the people who actually care about us. That's like, nah.
Yeah.
When you come home, go above and beyond and give that same energy that you give out in that workplace. Give that to them, because they're watching you, they're modeling you. This is
Right.
who you're doing it for. If you claim
It's
that
like their priorities. We think we get to the point where we think, okay, just because I go out and I provide,
mm-hmm.
that's it. You know what I'm saying? And we go out there and us trying to make a living for our families. We come home, we frustrated that, you know, it could have been in business, or it could have been whatever. It could have been on the
Mm-hmm.
job. Got into it with an employee, or
Bring it home.
your boss, whatever. And then you spend all that energy out there, and then you bring it home and you bring that negative energy, and you end up, first thing they do, you lash out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just about we look at things just, you know just one aspect of it. And it's not just about the money, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta get your shit together all the way around. Like, one isn't better than the other one, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just because you get some money,
Don't mean the
you,
household's still in order.
yeah, don't mean that you can come home and just treat everybody like shit in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's gonna be a consequence to that. And then if you just at the house and you got the house all the way straight and you ain't getting no money, it's gonna be a consequence to that.
Mm-hmm.
So one is not better than the other. You gotta go
Balance
hard
that
with
shit out.
Yeah, you gotta go hard with both. Like, shit, go get a bunch of money and have one of the best households you can do. Put a lot of energy, the same energy you put in going to get some money, put that same energy into the house. You know what I'm saying? Double down on getting your house together. Double down on getting relationships together at home, spending quality time, being patient,
Mm-hmm.
being a role model for the ones looking up to you, your kids, just being there, and then being present. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what a lot of people, they get it confused. Like you say, just
Mhm.
because you getting some money and you dropping off, or you spending money, or even the families that you might not be under the same roof, they think just because you go drop off some money, or just because you
Yeah.
send some money, that you're handling your responsibilities as a man.
Right.
Like, kids don't remember. You think back when you was like, kids don't remember all the gifts that they got when they was 5. By the time they 18, they remember that time that was spent.
Yeah.
They remember who was there for them. When you took me to do this, when you picked me up for this, when you took me to that, your daughter to that dance, or when you
Yeah.
you was at your kids' football games or basketball games. Like, that's the memories that kids they have. So it's like you
Right.
just said, it's not, yes, you need the money. Yeah, so not taking that away, but it can't just be just about the money. It's the
Right.
presence, not just the presence.
Right.
So
It needs, because then it's some where you got some daddies that's our parents that, like, they need to they at the house too goddamn much.
you got to get up off the couch.
You there too long. You be spending too much
So
time.
you there more than the furniture.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, it's just one's not better than the other. In anything you do in life, like everything, you should put the same energy into everything. You should try to go hard. You should try to be excellent at everything. You should have your energy up. You should have your money up. You should have, good relationships. Your family should be straight. Everything should be in order. Like, we shouldn't get to the point where it's like we just be one dimensional with shit, where we just think, okay, I gotta get money and that's it, or I gotta have my family and that's it, or I gotta just have my relationships and that's it, or I gotta have my peace and my spiritual.
And that's it.
It's like, shit. All that shit matters, and it matters, and they're all equally as important.
And
you know
I think
what I'm saying?
that's where a lot of people have a hard time with trying to find that balance. As
Mhm.
far as, like, okay, I want to take care of my health. I want to be present for my kids. I want
Right.
to go out and get some money. I
Mhm.
want to, like, they're trying to figure out how can I be well balanced. I think really that possibly could be the ultimate goal that everybody wants. I want a little bit of money. I want to be able to have good relationships with my family. I want to have peace. I want to, they want just a well balanced life. But it's like, okay, I have to work 2 or 3 jobs because my significant other isn't here to help me anymore. Right. So I got 2 or 3 kids, and I have to go to work to try to get the money because we have to eat and I have to provide a roof over our head. But then they're missing that time, that presence, that present time, at the household. And so, like, a lot of times I say, like, if you working, sometimes it's not about how hard you work, how much you work. It's like, what are you doing with the finances that you have?
Right.
And that's a lot of time, like, you just have to, when you're trying to well balance, like, okay, you're trying to get your money, but what are you doing with the money that you have? That way, because you can't eliminate that time with those kids.
Right.
You'll spend so much time, and I see it a lot of times, so many people, they'll work those 2-3 jobs, but then these kids aren't getting that quality time that they need from mother. They're not getting that quality time that they need from father because mama had to go to work. And, and that's the excuse that we, and I don't want to know if I want to say excuse or not, but it's like that's the reason that we give. I had to go to work. I had to provide for you in order to have, to have the things that you need. But it's like they forget that they also need that emotional support as well.
Right.
They need that love. They need that hug. They need that, that presence of you being there as well.
But see, they like, it goes right back to they're looking at it, they're just being one-sided on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you had to work 2 or 3 jobs, if you was that focus on trying to get some money, you know what I'm saying, make sure you is equally focused on spending that time with your family, you know what I'm saying, and make sure that you put because energy, like, we don't know what we have, like, we don't know our potential, you know what I'm saying. Ain't nobody on this damn planet tapped into their potential,
their fullest potential.
Right? So we don't know what we're capable of, and I think the main thing is just go hard with everything, like, and try not to be mediocre at anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go super hard
on one dimension,
if you go super hard at developing a relationship with your kids, right? And I mean, you putting all that energy, you putting all the energy you have into being there for your kids, right? And then you turn around and you go put all the energy that you have into getting your finances together, and you turn around and you put all that energy into getting your health together, right? And you constantly do that over a period of time, right? And say, for instance, if you gotta go and work a late night shift or some shit like that, like right now, I put so much energy and time, and I never took a day for granted, like with my kids, to the point where if I gotta leave for a week,
you can.
I can. They're not gonna be tripping. The work is done. And then when I get back, I'ma still put all that energy. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't just barely kick it with them. So then if I leave, it's gonna be like, damn,
You got the leeway to be able to leave because you've spent so much time that they're not gonna be missing. That time when you're gone.
Right. I took it serious. Everything. You take it serious. You go and you put all your energy into whatever you're doing, and you do it 1,000%. The same goes with money. If you going hard with money, right, and you giving it 1,000%, when it's time that you need to take off and you need to go to that basketball game or you need to go do what you need to do, money ain't gonna be an issue.
Because you've been grinding already.
You've been doing what you're supposed to do. Now, if you bullshitting around and then you let things get bagged up and you're not doing what you need to do and you're not giving it 100%, then those things could happen and mess you up. Then you got to make decisions like, damn, I wasn't giving it 100% with my kids. I wasn't giving it 100% with the money, but now I got to leave to go get some money. Now my kids, you know what I'm saying?
So now I don't have that time with the kids either.
Right.
And I think what happens is a lot of people, they take the time for granted. Like, they think they have forever.
Right.
And then you look up and those kids become adults. You look up, like, you got to start living your day like you don't know when the last day will be here. Like, like you just said, give everything that you have today.
Right.
Because something may happen tomorrow, something may happen next week, something may happen a month from now. What would you do if you knew you had a year left to live?
Right.
You wouldn't give, and you give so much attention to and so much of our time to shit that don't matter, that if you only had a year left to live, you wouldn't do nothing that didn't have shit to do with value. You'll spend way more time with your kids. You'll spend way more time. You will spend time doing things that, giving your energy towards the things that really matter. So now you have that energy, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I gave all my energy at work. I don't have enough energy. When I get home, I don't have enough energy to give that same amount of energy to my kids. Right. But it's like, these kids grow up. These kids aren't going to remain kids forever. You don't have infinite amount of time to well, once I get enough money, then I'll be able to do this with my kids.
Right.
Once I gotta go get this money, but then once I get enough money, then I go take my kids to do this, and I'll spend that time. But then you look up, and those kids went from 5 years to 10 years old to 15. Next thing you know, they 20 years old, and you steady in this super trying to get all this money that they're adults now. You miss that. You don't get that time back. You miss that time that you could have had with them, spending with them. You don't get, to watch them grow up and interact with them on their milestones as kids.
Right.
So it's like, don't think that you always have forever to do the things that you could do today. Like you say, take every day, and I'm gonna give 100% to go get this money. I'm gonna give 100% towards spending time with these kids. I'm gonna give 100% towards taking care of my health. Like a lot of times I say, time spent in preparation is way shorter than time spent in repairment.
Right.
Like it's way easier to do things that you need to do now than trying to wait till a later date to try to do it. Cause you look up and, man, like you say, that time, man, it goes by fast.
Oh yeah.
And you think you steady thinking that I have time to get this done. I have time to spend in that relationship. Oh man, I'm doing this. That you don't give that dedicated time to your significant other, and then you look up and then y'all separate.
Yeah.
Your wife leaves or your husband leaves because you wasn't giving them that time that they needed. You wasn't developing that bond with them. Those kids grow up. That job, you give half-ass at your job and then you end up getting fired. Oh, no, now you want to do better. Now you want to give more to try to, no, it's too late then. Right. Take that time and give your best at that job or your career or whatever it is that you're into. Give 100% now. Don't wait until, you get written up, or don't wait until they're ready to fire you, or don't wait until something negative happens and then you decide you want to do more. Don't wait until your kids, once I get this, then I'm going to spend time with my kids. No, do it now. Because them kids going to remember that. And that relationship that you have with them or that you wanted to have with them is going to be long gone. The relationship that you wanted with your spouse, when you wasn't giving that energy and that time to them, when they decide to leave, and now you hurt because, you want to, okay, I'm going to try to do better now. Right. No, do better. Don't be proactive. Do better before any kind of bad thing come up out that.
Right. I remember when I had my son, I was working. Well, I had my kids. And at the time, and it's just like the people that is working, going hard, and you got to provide, because we live in a capitalistic society. I mean, if you don't got money, you can't eat. So I understand the importance of it, and you gotta get paid. Like they just not gonna give you money to sit around. So you gotta go get some money for your freedom. But the people that's working, what I'm saying, they going hard, 2 or 3 jobs, and they out here trying to provide. They not home a lot. The thing is, you in control of your time. You create that time. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to be able to use that time wisely. You know what I'm saying? When I was working, I was working like 16 hours and shit a day because I was young and I had to, I didn't want to go the wrong route. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure that I provided for my kids and I was present. I could have took the easy route. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't a guarantee that, I would have been here to be with them. You know what I'm saying? So I took the hard route, and it required me to work, 16-hour shifts, 16 hours a day, because I was working and I was doing my other work on the side, all legal. But so it required me to be gone a lot. So how I managed my time was, okay, every morning I'm up and I'm gonna get y'all ready and I'm gonna take y'all to school. So I get them up, car ride to school, we chilling,
talking with them,
chopping it up, send them to school. I go to work, go handle my business, and then they'll get out around like 3. So then I work through the whole shift, and I explain to you
have to go get your kids.
Yeah, so I'm not taking no lunch, but I'm going hard. You know what I'm saying? So at 3, I'm gonna go get my kids.
And when you going hard, they more willing to work with you when you got circumstances like that.
So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get my kids. So I go pick them up, kick it with them, go get something to eat, take them home, and then by that time, their mom will be there, and you know what I'm saying, and she'll spend the time with them. Then I go back and get to it. By the time I get back, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be around dinner time. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a little late, probably by like 7-8 o'clock. But now it's like, kick it, let's have some dinner, mess around, and then we gonna have breakfast, lunch, and dinner together, and then I'm gonna put y'all to bed,
So
and
you
then
still was able
I'm
to.
still. So it's just like, but I could have did it. I could have been like, well, shit, I'm tired. Somebody else take them to school. Let somebody else drop them off.
And
You
you
know what I'm
could have had
saying?
every excuse for what,
Every
man. I've been
excuse,
going to
yeah.
work. I've been doing this. I've been
Right.
providing, take care of.
I can't leave. You know what I'm saying? I need to go. I need to go eat at this time. You know what I'm saying? And like none of this was by force. I had people in position to do this. To
You
go
made that
go pick
decision.
them up to do whatever. But you know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, I want to do this. You know what I'm saying? So I made the choice to do it like that. And you know what I'm saying? You could spend your time. Then on the weekends, if I got some time off, then it's 100% about them. And then whatever else comes second to that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what, man, when we hear that saying all the time, like, all right, we all got the same 24 hours. Everybody got the same exact 24 hours in a day. How are you willing to spend your 24 hours?
Right.
What are you doing within that 24 hours? Like you say, some people, they go work all day and then they want to come home, crack open a beer, kick their feet up on the couch, and they want to relax and they want to watch a TV show. Then the weekend come, I've been working 5 days a week. I don't want to spend time with my kids. I've been working all week. I want to go do some things that I want to do. And that's the thing. Like, you make a decision. Like, you have a choice. You have a decision. Like, how do you want it? Nowhere in there you spent all your extra spare time that you had towards your relationships, towards your, developing those relationships, because that's what was important to you.
Right.
And that's really what you have to ask yourself. Like, what's important to me? Like, is sitting down watching TV more important than, spending that time with your kids, developing that relationship with your kids? Is going out and partying on the weekend more important than spending that time with your significant other? Is the extra things that you're doing, is that more important than your health? A lot of people say, I don't have the time. Well, I just didn't have the time. It's just not enough time. I wish I had more hours in a day. Yeah. It was like, you don't need more time. You just need to yeah, real talk.
You do. You're just not using them.
You're not using
what I'm
it.
saying?
And I was working with somebody before, and I told him, I was like, write down your full day from each hour. Okay, you did 8 hours of sleep. What did you do each? And it was like you'll start realizing how much time you spend in bullshitting. How much time you spend in just doing things that are not adding value, or not things that you truly care about or desire. It's not towards you. You say you desire your relationship with your kids, but yet how are you spending your spare time? Right. You say you desire your relationship with your significant other. How are you spending? You say you want good health, but how are you spending your time? Are you sitting up, kicked back with your feet kicked up, watching TV for 2, 3, 4 hours, and then you go to sleep, and then you got to wake up and do it again? Or are you like how you was doing? Like, okay, I went. You had your second hustle. I went and got my money here, but then I still made it back home to have dinner with the kids,
right?
And your wife, to be able to sit down and talk and just enjoy that time,
right?
Like, how are you spending that time?
It's like, and then if you the thing is, if you go hard enough, because then it was some times where shit, I may have missed dinner. You know what I'm saying? I may have worked from 7 in the morning to 12 midnight. You know what I'm saying? Just because I would do my work, and then I do my side work. You know what I'm saying? So, this was early in my 20s, and but the time that I do miss, everybody understood. Like, hey, it's cool, because you done went so hard. You done put, you done overdid it. You know what I'm saying?
You got some extra leeway.
Yeah. So if I miss one day out the week, or even 2, you know what I'm saying, I'm still good. But if you just disregard everything and you don't like.
And that's where, like you said, in certain instances where if you go above and beyond and you always there, always handling your business, people are understandable when you can't make it this one time. Or when you can't make it here. You got a little extra leeway in your pocket because you always go above and beyond.
Right.
If you supposed to be at your child's game and you always got an excuse for why you can't be at his game, or if you always miss your daughter's dance, if you always miss, a important date that you were supposed to have with your wife, and you always miss, that just becomes part of your character. That becomes who you are. It becomes, people don't want to keep hearing excuses after excuses after excuses. But like you say, when you always at your child's game, or you always, at your daughter's recital, if you always where you supposed to be, you always handling your business, when certain things come up sometime and you just can't make it, it's okay. They understandable. They willing to give you that leeway. They willing to give you that pass, because they know that your character says Dad's always gonna be there. Dad's gonna, he's normally always here. You can give him, you have that leeway to not be there sometime. And it's like, do you really want to be there? That's really all it comes down to. Nobody can stop you from doing what you truly desire doing, what you really want to do, what you truly care about.
And even like, even like with women, right? They're not gonna. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But they're not gonna be tripping. With my experience, they're not gonna be tripping if you handling your business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then if y'all both on the same page and you doing what you need
Handling
to
your
do, you
business.
handling your business, and you like, hey, and y'all both got the same goal. Hey, we trying to, you got, and you got a goal, and you like, hey, we trying to work here. So, and y'all both got the same goal, and y'all on the same page. They're not gonna be tripping if you. If shit just
Handling
don't,
your business.
yeah, if it ain't just working out, like if you can't just go and do dinner every Friday, or you can't do certain things, they're not gonna be tripping. But if you sitting at the house with your boys
All
on
day
the
long.
couch, fucking watching the game, and then she ain't getting no time, you ain't doing what you need to do, then that's when it's gonna be an
Be a
issue.
problem.
That's when they like, hey man, come on, like damn, you know what I'm saying?
You spend many hours with your boys.
Right. And you ain't doing shit. You just watching the game, and then you making excuses why y'all can't go do what y'all want to do, or money's an issue why y'all can't go do what y'all want to do, but you got time to sit around watch the game all day on Sunday, watching basketball all day,
Playing
you know
a
what I'm saying,
game.
playing video games and all that shit. Like, then they gonna be like, ah man, like
They
you know what
not.
I'm
They gonna
saying?
get fed up with it over
Right.
time, and I'm definitely 100% in agreement with that. Like,
Yeah.
you can't neglect your time with your significant other just because you've been together 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It don't matter how long. Like, and when we talk about the significant other, you got to do what you did in the beginning to get her to keep her. And like you say, if you just neglecting her and you steady, like you say, playing video games, her feet kicked up, or you watching the game with the boys all day, but then you're not taking her on dates, you're not giving her that quality time, or you're not sitting around, and spending time with her the same way you spend time with, you spend more time with your boys than you do with your woman, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And with relationships, men have to understand, like, you also have to pick, be cautious of when you picking your significant other, whether it's man or woman. Like, make sure your goals line up, make sure your vision line up, make sure your priorities line up, because if your goal is your goal and your values are different than your significant other, when you out there trying to get to it and she steady because some women will complain while you out here trying to get to it to protect and provide. Right. I'm out here trying to provide for this family because this is what, and she's not understanding that because her values or her goals, and this go either way. They like, so be mindful of who you pick as a significant other. Make sure that goals line up with your goals, because like you were saying, like, if our goals is financial freedom. We don't want any debt, and we're both working and we're grinding. Like, you understand, like, hey, I gotta, I pick up this overtime, or hey, I'm doing something that's productive. She'll understand, like you said, she'll understand, like, hey, he's doing this because he's trying. We're working towards the same goal. Right. A lot of times people will get together and and they don't be working out because you don't have the same goals, you don't have the same mission, you don't have the same values. Like, you got to take the time to sit down with your significant other and say, what are our values? What are our goals? Where are we moving towards? Because couples and stuff, they get together and sometimes it's like they in competition or they against each other. Right. It's like they don't have the same goal, they don't have the same purpose. It's like, you can't be with somebody who doesn't value the same thing you value, or who doesn't have the same goals as you, because you're trying to move this way and they're trying to move this way. Y'all gonna continue to clash, y'all continue to butt heads, but when y'all both on the same page, on the same team working, y'all moving in harmony. Like, every relationship requires harmony. We need to move in harmony. We need to be at peace with each other. If we can't be here always arguing and drama because you going off on me because I'm trying to handle my business and move towards our goal, and then you're not.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely, like, I agree with you when you say that. Like, be on the same page, and they'll give you that leeway when you're handling your business, but you can't be fucking off.
Yeah, you can't be fucking off and making excuses. You know what I'm saying? And then so yeah, man, it's just. Everybody, in relationships, man, get on the same page. Get on the same page, and that's with everything. That just doesn't stop
relationships.
With relationships at home. That's everybody, whoever in your crew. If y'all in business and everything. Even if you a manager, everybody needs to be on the same page. What's the goal? You know what I'm saying? What's the vision? Where y'all trying to go? And y'all got to work towards that, because when everybody understand the vision,
they take it on as their own, and everybody move faster.
Yeah, and they know, they like, shit, they willing to go through whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we on the same page and we both know the vision and we know where we headed, like, we're not gonna be tripping over little stuff that may occur on the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, some stuff that we may have to sacrifice on, some stuff that we may have to chill out on, or some stuff that, you know what I'm saying?
We both understand. We
both understand. Like, they probably ain't gonna come ask you for a Chanel bag and all that shit right now because they know like, all right, the goal is to be able to be free enough to get whatever we want whenever we want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not tripping over the right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what we working towards. But if y'all not on the same page and don't have the same goals, then you pulling this way and she pulling this way or whatever the relationship may be, then that's when the issue's gonna start. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing is everybody needs to know the vision
and be on the same page.
Know where they headed, understand the goal, and then be willing to go through it. You know what I'm saying?
And like you were saying, not just about relationships, but even in your circle. And that's why they say, who you surround, your top 5 people who you surround yourself with, that's the direction that you're heading into life, because
right,
that's who you share common values and common goals with. So, when you take a time and you just evaluate your circle, who you around, your relationships, not just, spouse relationships, but friendships and, any kind of relationship that you have, people that you allow around you, you have to say, are they an asset or are they a liability? Are they helping towards the vision or are they taking away from the vision?
Right.
Some people you building the boat and some people over there knocking holes in your boat. They have their own separate agenda. They have their own separate mission in life. And that's things that you have to watch out for, because not everybody has the same heart as you. Not everybody means well for you. Not everybody means well for the goal. They have a separate goal. They pretend as if they're working with your goal and your vision, but then they may have a hidden agenda, a separate goal in mind.
Right.
So those type of people you have to remove yourself from, because they're detrimental. And I've had it before in business, where I had a business partner, early on when I was younger that, I thought we was on the same page and I thought we had the same goal. And I'm moving and handling business, and he had a separate agenda. He had a separate goal. He was looking out more for himself, and it ended up coming where he was stealing money from the company, from the business.
Right.
And I had to look at it like, this whole time I'm thinking we're moving towards building this business and growing this business, and he was moving on a different agenda. So I had to remove myself from that kind of situation. Okay, I can't do business with you any longer because you got a separate goal. You got a separate agenda in mind. And anybody that's around you that have a separate goal, we tend to call that's what they call hate. That's what we call envy. That's what we call jealousy. Somebody who has they around you, but they got a separate agenda, hidden agenda. Like once you start realizing that, you start seeing those red flags, like you have to start readjusting your circle. You have to start reading, even in relationships, if they have a hidden agenda, like you just said. If your chick, your goal is financial freedom, and she complaining because she want a Chanel bag, and her agenda is different than your agenda. Her goal is different than your goal. She trying to take away from the pot. While you trying to put into the pot, she trying to take away from the pot. Quit surrounding yourself with people who only want to take away from the pot, and they not try to contribute to the pot. They want to come sit down at your table to eat, but they don't want to bring nothing but a knife and a fork and a plate.
Yeah.
Like, hang around some people who want to go out there and hunt with you too. They want to bring the meal back too. They want to contribute towards, and that's relationships, friendships, and anything. Like hang with people who want to add to the pot, not always just want to, when is the food ready? When is it time to eat?
Right. And see, like, as men, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we supposed to be in the position to do what we need to do right by our women.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if you're not in that position yet where you can do that stuff, then either A, don't be in no relationship right now.
Focus on yourself.
Yeah, focus on getting your stuff together, and then move over into a relationship to where you can do those things. Or you're going to have to be with somebody that shares the same goals and vision. It's always better with a partner, but but if they not on the same page, then you still have to work towards that, because at the end of the day, yeah, that's your responsibility. You should be able to do nice things for your woman and take her out and be on your grown man shit, you know what I'm saying, and provide and stuff like that. That's your job, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if y'all are working towards that, get on the same page. But if you're not there yet, then keep grinding, you know what I'm saying? And just wait till you get there, and then whatever partner or whoever you're looking for, they'll come along. But at the end of the day, if you're not there and you with somebody that thinks you there or expects you to be there already, then that shit's gonna be a problem. And the only thing that's gonna do is pull you down. And then, like in business, it's like whenever you growing, you know what I'm saying, and you Cause see, it take a lot of courage. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of guts to get out here in business and put your money up, and hopefully it come back. You know what I'm saying? Or take your money and start something, and take your time and start something and hope that you
get the
you
return
get a
on it.
return on it. So it takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage. But in this stuff, it's painful. You know what I'm saying? Every level that you reach, it's gonna be growing pains. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be growing pains. You have to go through some shit. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to go through something in business you deal with. You keep pushing forward. You may run across certain people that you gotta eliminate out your circle. Just in the process of you growing, and it may be painful. It may hurt. It may feel real shitty. But at the end of the day,
it's part of the process.
It's part of the process. So, yeah, don't sit there. Make sure you remove them people. You know what I'm saying, and keep it moving. But don't just beat yourself up too hard, because shit, it's part of the process.
It's part of the learning experience.
Right.
And my thing is as well to men, quit putting on an image as if you got it all together, or if you got all this money, or you doing, because then men be like, oh, these women are gold diggers, all they want. When you putting on this image like, I got this, I got that, and you trying to showcase to try to impress these women, and then these women come around and they want what you have. It's like, that's how you got the woman. Did you get the woman by portraying that you had this, that? Yeah. Like, no, but for one, work on yourself and really go get it. Right. And then when you get in that, when you do attract the right woman into your life, and you get in that relationship, and women as well, like quit portraying, putting on, you want, if you out here and you being explicit with showing your body and stuff like that, and then you say, all men want to do is have sex with me. Well, then look at what you portraying, look at what you giving out. And then men, you posting your money on social media, you trying to portray that you got it going on like this, and you say, oh man, all these women want from me is my money. Look at what you portraying. But then it's like, really focus on yourself before you go get into a relationship, where when you do find the one that's for you, you can go provide for her and give her the things that your heart desire. Every man, it's a joy for every man to be able to go provide for his woman. But we want to be able to provide for the woman that we know genuinely got our back, and not with me just because of what I have, but that she genuinely likes me for me. And I'm all for it, man. Every man needs a woman. Having a woman on your side like that pushes you to another level. Right. It gives you that extra desire to go out. Nobody, you go out and accomplish these goals, and it's just you. You don't really have nobody to bring it home to and share that joy with. But when you have somebody to do it for, like when you go out there and you get it and you accomplish it, and you come back and you could take care, like that brings a sense of satisfaction for men. Like, man, I was able to provide for this woman. And she's not just with me just because I have this or I have that. And a lot of women, it's like women have to understand too. Like, men want somebody that will go through it with them.
Right.
Do you have my back whether I have this or not? A lot of women just want somebody who's already have everything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, he got everything. I want him because he's financially stable. He can take me on these trips. He could buy me these bags. And they got to realize the man who already have everything like that, it's a woman who had his back when he didn't have nothing, who went through the process with him, who went through the journey with him. And that's the woman who he's really gonna, take serious and be with. So if your man, women, if your man has potential, and he's out here trying to go out here and provide, and he's out here trying to make a way, and he's moving towards his goal, you can see that those are the men, you want to be with and have his back and work on the same goal with him as you're trying to go do the same thing.
Right. See, and like with women, like men, we got to give them something to work with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I understand it, you know what I'm saying, to an extent, because a lot of these men, they like, well, shit, you need to, rock with me till I, when I stay down for the come up, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, we got to give them something to work with
as well.
We got to give them something to work with. Like, you ain't got no potential, no drive, no motive, no goal, no vision. Yeah. Like, you ain't got no money. Like, women need something to work with, because a woman's job, right, when they just all the way natural and they just in their essence and they just doing them, like, they're multipliers. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't give them shit to multiply, then
they ain't got nothing to work with.
They ain't got nothing to work with. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we put a lot of stress on them. And then they you know what I'm saying, we put a lot of stress on them because we don't give them nothing to work with. We got to give them something to work with, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't always got to be just the money, but it got to be something. Like, you got to have something. You got to bring something to the table to where they can say, okay, let's build off of this, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll get on this journey with you, but men don't just think like, you ain't doing nothing, you ain't got no potential. Like
No
you
goals,
really,
no
if you're
visions.
not doing what you need to be doing, you ain't got nothing to bring to the table. You
You
don't
don't
deserve
deserve
a
a
woman.
woman.
You know
Real
what I'm
talk.
saying? Like you gotta wait. You know what I'm saying? Like
Get your shit
get
together.
your shit together. You know what I'm saying? Like man up and boss up, and then you know what I'm saying. Then go get a woman, because now you have something to bring to the table that she can work with, and then she could be in her natural state and she could do her part and then help you go to the next
Elevate you,
level. You know what I'm
multiply you.
saying? Right.
Like I like when you said that. Like women do multiply you. By yourself, you just adding. When you add
Right.
you a woman, you start multiplying. But like you said, give them something to work with.
Yeah.
A lot of men, we I ain't gonna say we, but a lot of men they want the woman. They want the woman to do everything that she's supposed to do. I want you to cook. I want you to clean. I want you to take care of our kids. I want you to take care of the household. But then, like you just said, on their end, they're not being able to provide on their end. And like I was reading something the other day. I was listening to something the other day, and it was saying as far as even if you can't financially, if you're going through some things right now and you can't take care of finance, you can still be helping out around. You can watch the kids. That costs money. Daycare costs money. You can get out there and cut their grass. Lawn care costs money.
Yeah.
You can go and you can fix some stuff.
Right.
You can go work on the car, change the oil. You can fix tires. You can do things that's costing this woman some money as well. Like
Right.
that's what are you bringing to the table? And until you able to go, you might have got laid off or whatever the case is. But don't just not do nothing to contribute towards the goal, because you are adding a lot of stress, and a lot of men become very insecure when they're not bringing nothing to the table. So now they on their woman ass about everything that she doing, and it's because you really think that she's gonna find somebody who is able to do things that you're supposed to be doing, and that's where a lot of the insecurity come from. Where you see, just men who are jealous and men who think they very overprotective of their woman. It's because only reason that a man is insecure is if he's not handling his business. When you handling your business and you out here and you getting up every day, you going to get you some money, you coming, you taking care of the kids, and you just well balanced as a man, you ain't worried about what your woman go do, because like for you to go find somebody that's doing the things that I'm doing, like if you leave what I'm putting together, what I got going on, then you don't deserve me.
Right.
So like if you don't want to feel insecure about what your woman got going on, bring something to the table, give them something to work with, and then most women not gonna want to go look for nothing else when you are giving them something to work with.
Then a lot of these, like when they say just about these women with money, like they going after the money, they just, I want the nigga with the money. But sometimes that's all they got.
Is the money.
That's all they got is the money. That's it.
Money don't make you real.
Right. They don't have nothing else to bring to the table but that. So that's what they got to work with.
Just the money.
That's all they bring to the table.
But then you see a lot of relationships as well, where the woman who just go after just the money, they be having to, they got to deal with, he don't do this or he don't do that. I don't think he does, and then it becomes like, okay, maybe the money isn't everything.
Yeah.
It's
not, but it's not everything, but
it does
like,
contribute. But
but it's like, it's certain, like even with your significant other, she like you for different things. Like you bring other different things to the table. You know what I'm saying? Besides the money. You know what I'm saying? So she can mess with you on these other different things besides the money. You know what I'm saying? But it's some of these other cats, that's all they have is the money. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing
that they can mess with them.
That they can mess with them on. Like they don't bring nothing else to the table.
So if anything gets to happen with that money,
then that's it.
They don't have nothing else to mess with you on.
They have nothing else.
They don't connect with you on anything else.
And then you can't really be mad at them, and they like, well, shit.
That's what I got with you for in the first place.
Yeah, that's all you brought to the table. You had a shitty conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like you brought nothing else to the table but the money. And they like, all right, well, shit, you gave me something to work with. Every woman could work with some money.
Man,
you know
and
what I'm saying? So
with me in my relationship, like when me and my wife first started dating, I didn't have all the money. But like you said, I gave her something to work with. I was 20 years old when we first. I'm 34 now, and I was 20 years old when we first started dating. Right. I'm working in a warehouse making $7 an hour. Like I had just got out of jail. I'm on house arrest, and I'm working in a warehouse making $7 an hour. Right. But I gave her, like, I'm always a good person. I was always there caring for her, but I gave her something because I got up every day and went to work. And I went above and beyond. I worked overtime. She saw my potential. So yeah, I wasn't financially in the best place to go buy her everything that she worked at that time, but she stuck with me because she saw my drive, she saw my potential, she saw my hustle, she saw the way that I took care of the kid. Like we had a kid at the time, you know. So she saw the way that I was taking there and spending time with the kids. I gave her more things to want to stay. So even when you messing up or things aren't, or y'all going through some things, she still had reason to want to stay with you. Like a
Right.
lot of times, you know, people, well, women or men are quick to throw in a flag on a relationship and not try to make it work because they don't have nothing to work with, like you just
Right.
said. It's like even when we went through our arguments and stuff like that, she still knew, she saw my potential. I still gave her something to work. Man, he has goals, he has vision, and he's not just. A lot of people just want to talk about it. A lot of people talk deeds, not words.
Right.
So many men talk about what they want, what they're gonna do. Man, I'm gonna go do this. Man, I plan on doing this. I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna handle this. I plan on going to get this skill, go get this trade. They want to talk a good game to keep the woman around. But then when you talking about when years go by and they see that you're not putting forth no effort towards moving towards all these goals, it's just you know, all it was nothing but talk. It was enough to
Right.
just keep the woman around. They see that. And that's when, you know, but if you actually moving towards, I said I'm gonna do this, I went and did it. I wanted to go back to school. I went back to school. I wanted to go get a trade. I went and got the trade. I wanted to start a business. I started the business. So if
Right.
you look at the progression, it was always progressing year by year, and that's what they look at. Are we progressing? If you're looking at your relationship with your significant other and you trying to make a decision, is this where I really want to be at? Is it moving forward? You just say, are we progressing? Look at this time
Right.
last year. Are we in the same position or a worse position this year than we was last year? Look at the next 5 years. Are we progressing or are we moving back? And if you keep moving back and things aren't progressing, then that's when you take the time and you say, okay, is this for me or is this not for me? Because I can't continue to live my life regressing. I want to move forward. And if you got the wrong partner and you moving forward and they're moving backwards, you know, you're not, they're hindering your growth.
Right.
So, you know,
Certain.
like progression, man, progression in any relationship, whether it's friendship, whether it's situationship, whether it's, you know, whatever it is, like you should see progress year by year. I'm not saying you have to have everything all together right now, but it should be some kind of progression. You
Right.
know, hell, when we was kicking it, you know, we'd be out and about and we was turning up partying and popping the bottles and we was living that lifestyle. We progressed to more like, man, we got to start taking, we sat down and we was like, you know, where are we trying to go?
Right.
We start taking self-development a little bit more serious. You look at our relationship, it grew from, we was at this phase of life, yeah, we was doing that now, but what we enjoyed doing that then, we don't enjoy doing now. And that happens in relationships or with your significant other. Things that you might have approved of 5 years ago in your relationship, you might not approve of that no more. Things that you like doing then, you might not like doing now. You might been okay with your significant other doing XYZ 5 years ago, but you grew into a new person. You're not the same person. Either you're gonna grow together or you're gonna grow apart.
Right.
You know, and you would want to grow together with your significant other and try to, you don't want to throw in a towel at the first sign, you know, of some controversy or the first sign of things not working out for you. But if you're just looking up year after year and your relationship's not growing, then like you say, you know, you got to make your decision. Like, how important to you is your growth?
Right. Yeah, it got to be something that's long lasting. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, everybody's gonna continue to get older. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna continue to mature. Certain shit that you did, certain shit that you was doing when you were younger, you're not gonna be able to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, what do you have? You know, so you got to look at all that. We can't just, we look at sometimes we just look at different things, and you got to go a little bit deeper, you know what I'm saying, and connect on a different level for that relationship to really grow and last, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that just people in general that's like, even from all the way from a childhood, you know, when you go back and you just look at from your childhood, it's a lot of people that didn't grow with you. You know what I'm saying? They kind of grew apart. Things start to change. Certain things that I was doing at, you know, 10, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, you know, things start to change. And you know, either you growing with us or you growing without us. You know what I'm saying?
Some big facts.
You know, and that's just how it goes. So it's like you got to look at things. You got to connect on a more of a deeper level rather than just, we look at the small things. We're looking at the outer appearance, and we're not looking at anything inner. You know what I'm saying?
Deep.
Like, we're not looking at character. We're not looking at any of this stuff. We just looking at
what
damn,
they look good.
What the shell look good. Ooh, I could do something with the shell.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm
The
saying?
shell, ain't, that ain't gonna last
It ain't
long.
gonna last. And then you know, it ain't gonna last. So
I
it
say it
gotta
all
be
the
deeper
time.
than that.
Change is inevitable, and growth
Hmm.
is optional.
Right.
And some people have to realize, like, some people are only meant for a season in your life. Not
Hmm.
everybody's gonna make it through your whole journey with you, and that's all life is. Life is nothing but a journey, and everybody can't go to the next level with you. Everybody can't go to the next phase with you because, some people had a nerve, even in friendships. Things that I was doing at 15. Or things I was doing at 18, I don't enjoy doing no more. I'm not a hypocrite because I no longer enjoy doing the things that I was doing. I wouldn't even want to be around me because people would be like, oh, he changed. Oh,
Yeah.
that's what life is about. Change is inevitable. You're supposed to change. I
Right.
wouldn't want to hang around my 18-year-old self anymore. Why would
Hmm.
you still? I'm like 34 years old. Why would you still want to hang around the 18-year-old version of yourself? The
Right.
things that my mindset then, the things that I was doing then, my attitude then, the way I went about things then, it
Hmm.
might not have it. I wouldn't want to still have that. If I still had that now, you wouldn't want to hang around with me. And if you still have the same attitude and the same mindset and you still doing the same things that you was doing 10, 15, 5 years ago, and you
Right.
not growing, then you're probably the person that's going to get left behind. And you can
Yeah.
continue doing those things that you've been doing because the only thing you're doing is repeating yesterday. You're repeating the worn out cycle. There's no growth within that.
Right.
Growth is optional. You have to choose to grow. You have to choose. And that comes
Hmm.
in that relationship with people. It comes relationship with friends. It comes relationship with, your significant other. Do we want to grow?
Right.
Things that we accepted 5 years ago, we're not accepting. We're not doing that no more. And I'm not a hypocrite because I don't enjoy doing that no more. Yeah, I used to do that, but I'm not doing that now. I
Right.
used to accept that, but I'm not accepting that now.
Already.
And like you say,
Yeah.
man, if you either go, grow with us or grow without us, or
Right.
or so
We gonna grow without
yeah,
your
there you
ass.
go. We'll grow without your ass that way.
Real talk.
So,
Yeah.
man, take self inventory on yourself. Are you growing personally? That's the
Hmm.
best relationship that you can work on first to make sure that you're growing with yourself. Are you growing with your significant other? Are you growing with your children? Are you growing with your friendships? And if it's no growth within any of your relationships, starting from self on down, you have to say, okay, this time and this phase has come to an end. And be okay with letting it go. It's okay with saying, I enjoyed the journey, I enjoyed the experience, I enjoyed the time that we had together, but it's no longer serving its purpose anymore. It's no
Yeah.
longer adding value to where I'm trying to go. And it's okay. I wish you the best. I wish you success. I wish you don't have to have hate and envy and wish them ill just because it didn't work out. So many, with relationships, so many times, when they separate, it's like, they go from I love you and I, all up on each other until I can't stand this person, I hate this person, and they blocked on emails and
Yeah.
social media and the phone. It's like one point you loved them, and like I don't have to wish you ill just because we no longer together. I can still wish you well. I can still wish you success. We
Right.
just your success and how you get your success has to be with the people that's meant for you in your journey, and then I have to surround myself with people that's meant for me on success on my journey.
Everybody got to get on the same page. If you're in a relationship, get on the same page. That's one of the biggest things you can ever do in a relationship, and then communicate.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Communication is key. Like all it takes is a conversation, and then don't all that running game and shit. Don't run no game. Have a genuine conversation with your significant
Mm-hmm.
other, or if you're in a partnership or whatever, and just get on the same page and communicate. That's something that that I have to get better at. That I'm not bad at it, but I'm just something that I got to
Work
do
on.
work on. That I'm work on. I'm a work in progress.
Mm.
And I feel like that's something that I can get better at. Some people may just think, your communication good. But for me, I talk about for me, like how I
Your
judge it. You know what
personal.
I'm saying? I'm like, hey, I can get better at this because when you're doing your best and when you're not. So
Mm-hmm.
communication, getting on the same page, and then just working all around. You know what I'm saying? Work on everything. Like take
Balance.
everything serious. You know what I'm saying? And go hard. Don't do nothing mediocre. You know what I'm saying? Like go hard at whatever you doing. If you gonna work on your finance, work on that shit. If you working on cause you gonna have time, right? To
Mm-hmm.
working on your finances, give it 1,000% of your time and attention. And then when you working on your relationship at home with your family, your kids, give it 1,000% of your efforts and attention. If you getting working on your health, When you doing that, when you carve out that time to do that, give it 1,000% of your attention and your efforts.
Mm-hmm.
You working on your mental, your peace, your spirit.
Give it all.
Give it all, 1,000% attention and effort, and then these things that happen, and these things are important. Like it's none of them is better than the other. You know what I'm saying? So, live in abundance with everything. Like approach everything with an abundant mindset that you can be successful at whatever you desire, whatever you decide to do. You want to have a successful relationship with your kids, like do that. You can be abundant in that. You can have that, and all across the board. So.
But one last thing that I do want to add in, since we've been talking heavy about relationships all the way around, man, one of the main things, you know, to keep in mind is for a good relationship to occur, communication and being courteous. Yeah. To be courteous costs you nothing. You know, be courteous to one another. Be courteous to your significant other. Be courteous to your kids. Be courteous to your business partner. Be courteous to your employees. Be courteous. Courteous costs you nothing, and that's the most undervalued characteristic that a person can have. Being courteous, being generous, being nice. Like, to be nice to your significant other, to be courteous to them, it goes a long way. And if you could just keep that in mind, to communicate with to being courteous, it'll save a lot of relationships, and it'll save a lot of the stress, a lot of the arguments, a lot of the drama, a lot of negativity that goes on within relationships stems from not being courteous. You know, saying things that you really don't mean, or trying to hurt people, or trying to belittle them. Like, choose your words that you use, choose them wisely before you say them, and be courteous to one another. Because courteous, you know, that strengthens that bond and that relationship, you know, and it holds it together if you really desire to have that relationship. You know, courteous with your communication.
Right.
So
treat if you want nobody talking to you crazy, don't talk to nobody else. Treat others how you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying?
The golden rule.